Hey, Jason here. So I'm creating this brief training really as a foundational training so that you have context and complete understanding before you watch the webinar. And we cover some higher level topics on this webinar, and you're going to see how we've literally turned the corner and have entered the future. But I wanted to give you context so you fully understand. So I'm going to go through this, and I think this will make a lot of sense before you hop into the webinar. So let's first talk about the agency bottleneck. Like, most agencies don't struggle because they lack ideas. They struggle because everything requires manual effort, right? Like, when you think about landing a client, it usually means doing a lot of small jobs, finding prospects or researching businesses or writing outreach messages or sending emails and tracking replies, right? Even with AI tools today, you are still the one doing the work, and that becomes the bottleneck. And this is why AI still feels confusing, because everyone keeps hearing AI is going to change everything, right? But for most agency owners, AI is mostly meant writing posts or generating social content quickly, or generating ideas and brainstorming and ideation, helping write emails, drafting outreach copy. That is all helpful, right? But it hasn't really changed how agencies get clients, because something important has been missing. Now, what AI has mostly been up until now is a lot of these tools work like this, right? You ask a question and then you get an answer. But then you still have to find the prospects, right? You still have to load your outreach tool. You still have to send campaigns. You still have to track replies. You still have to follow up. And AI helped you, right? But it helped you think faster. Helpful, but does it get you to the goal? Does it get you to the promised land? No, right? It didn't do the job. The real jobs inside an AI agency, when you think about it, or any agency or growing a business, but let's keep this narrowly focused to agencies. Running an agency means that, doing the same jobs repeatedly, like you're finding potential clients, searching for businesses that need your services. You're researching businesses, analyzing websites, social presence, and different needs. You're sending outreach, writing and sending cold emails and messages. You're tracking replies, right? You're updating your CRM. You are following up and reporting and nurturing leads and preparing client reports, right? These are repeatable jobs inside your business. And today, you or your team still perform most of them manually, right? And sometimes, if we're anything alike, sometimes we get behind on these things. Like, we all know what we need to do to grow our business, but are we doing it consistently every day? Probably not. Especially if you don't have a team, right? So the missing piece here is that AI tools have helped agencies with ideas and writing and content, but the real work inside an agency is getting jobs done. I want you to remember that. Getting jobs done, executing, doing things such as prospecting, the outreach, the lead tracking, the follow-up, the reporting. These are all things that you would hire a virtual assistant or an employee for, but you don't have to do that anymore. Until recently, AI could not perform those jobs. They couldn't do and execute these things. And that's the shift that's starting to happen. So now AI can begin acting like a digital worker. So instead of just answering questions, AI can now perform those tasks. It can execute real world tasks inside your business systems. It operates software, right? It can interact with the tools your agency already uses, right? Monitor systems. It can watch for triggers and respond automatically. And it can carry out instructions, so it can follow defined workflows without human input, which means AI can begin doing real jobs inside a business. That is the shift, my friends. So this is what leads us to openclaw. And I know you've probably heard a lot about it. It's the buzzword, but what is it actually? Like, what openclaw actually is? openclaw is not a chatbot, right? It's a framework that allows AI to act like a digital worker. So ChatGPT, as an example, is the brain, right? It thinks, it reasons, it generates language and ideas. openclaw is the system that allows that brain to use tools and perform tasks. So the AI moves from answering questions to doing the work. Make sense? So when you think about ChatGPT versus a digital worker, ChatGPT waits for prompts, right? Answers questions, generates ideas. and it stops after responding. A digital worker, though, this is different. It runs continuously, connects to tools, it performs tasks, it carries out instructions. So ChatGPT helps you to think, but a digital worker, it helps get work done. And that is what you need the most help with, right? So what makes this possible, though, right, as we're talking about openclaw, which you can think of this as more of a framework, for AI to do the work inside your business, it needs to interact with your software or your tools. And that's where something called an API comes in. You don't have to be technical at all to understand this, right? A simple way to understand an API is it's a way for software systems to send instructions to each other. So those instructions might say, create a contact, or send an email, or update a lead, or trigger an automation. Frameworks like openclaw can read those instructions and execute them, which allows AI to operate the software tools your agency already uses. Okay? Starting to make sense? So let's give a real agency example. Like, let's make this practical. Imagine you sell, for instance, something that we provide in our community, AI smart sites, right? Smart websites. Normally, your process might look like this. Search Google Maps, manually hunt for businesses in your target area, find outdated websites, identify businesses with weak or old web presence, collect contact info, gather emails, phone numbers, and business details, write cold emails, craft personalized outreach for each prospect. And then number 5, send campaigns and track replies, and launch outreach and monitor every response. That process can take hours, right? But that's the blocking and tackling of building an agency, right? And in this case, you would typically get help or you get an assistant to do these things for you. But now you have something that can be done autonomously, automatically with a digital worker. So what a digital worker can do is, with the right instruction, this digital worker each day can handle the entire process automatically. So they can search Google Maps for businesses and automatically scan for prospects in your target market. It can analyze their websites, identify weak or outdated digital presence. It can add context to your CRM and populate your pipeline without manual data entry. It can send the outreach emails and deliver personalized messages at scale. And it can track replies and notify you and alert you when someone replies. Now, AI isn't just writing emails, right? It's doing the job, it's executing the work. I hope this is starting to click. It's starting to make sense now. So example, for instance, like using Go High Level, like the leading CRM for agencies. You know, if your agency uses High Level, a digital worker could potentially create contacts in your CRM, right? It could trigger outreach campaigns. It can monitor replies. It can update pipeline stages. It can notify when leads respond. It can generate reports. And that's AI doing real work inside your agency, right? So before digital workers, in the traditional agency model, you and your team perform every job manually. You know, like you are the central worker that's doing all the things, right? And you're the worker for every job. After digital workers, digital workers are aimed at assisting your agency and your business. You still design the system, but AI workers help you perform the jobs. So before, owner does it, handles prospecting, outreach, replies. After, owner oversees digital workers executing those tasks. And things like finding the prospects, sending the outreach, updating the CRM, tracking responses, preparing the reports, right? That is the key difference, okay? So thinking about your first digital worker, I want you to imagine this. Like, imagine instead of doing everything yourself, you had a digital worker responsible for your prospecting. And every day it's instructed to search for businesses in your target market, identify companies with weak marketing, add those businesses into your CRM, send a personalized outreach email, track the responses, notify when someone replies. You wake up and potential clients are already in motion. This is the power and potential of what openclaw can do for your business. Now, the new agency question, though, is, the old question was, how can I use AI? The better question becomes, what jobs could a digital worker do inside my agency? You see the difference? Prospecting, lead qualification, CRM updates, follow-up, reporting. This is the shift tools like openclaw can make possible. Now, I'm only giving an agency example, but this works for any business that you have. Any business that requires you to do manual things, systems like openclaw can actually be your digital worker, the things that you no longer want to do. And even you can eliminate certain jobs if you're paying people to do these areas. So what you're going to see in this webinar is you're going to see how openclaw works behind the scenes and the framework explained clearly and simply. You're going to see how digital workers are created, the process of building and deploying AI workers. You're going to see a business that is created live in front of you. And you're going to see how they connect the tools and how Chad and his team has figured out, how they have figured out all the infrastructure and the layers and the complicated areas and everything that if you tried to do this on your own and going to YouTube University, it would leave you confused and frustrated. It's been figured out for you. So now you can have a clear path, and I like to call the FPC, the fastest path to cash, right? The fastest path to more customers, the fastest path to more clients in your business. And that's what you're going to see, and I want you to look for that when you see this webinar. And you're going to also see what jobs they can actually perform, and it's all figured out, right? This is a sort of training that is designed to give you, so this short training is designed to give you the foundation, right? Now the deeper concepts will make sense. So as I end this, the simple way to remember this is like a ChatGPT helps you think faster. Digital workers help you get work done, right? And your agency begins to operate differently, where AI does the jobs, the leads flow in, you direct the system, agency scales, your business grows. So I hope this simple training helps you to have a greater understanding. So now you're ready to watch the replay. Talk soon.